Good? Because I don't see it on the... there we go. Okay, hello, hi everyone. Our group is BZDNN, and our team are Daniel, William, Paul, and myself, David. There was also Nelly, but I'm not sure where she is, so she was part of the team. Anyway, the problem that we wanted to answer in our final project is a tough one that a lot of minds have been put into it and couldn't come up with a good answer. But I think that we actually managed to nail it. So, what are we talking about? Anyone knows this guy? Okay, so our question is, how would Kurush do in speed dating? Now, what is... Okay, so what is speed dating? For those of you who don't know, speed dating is essentially when a bunch of guys and women sit together around a table for a few minutes and talk, and after a few minutes they would try and mark participants from the opposite sex whom they think would be a good match for them. Now, if both the guy and the woman voted for each other, that's considered to be a match. Now, speed dating comes in all sorts of flavors, and the data that we managed to get our hands on is documented 21 sessions of speed datings where the participants filled up a form before the meeting where they describe themselves, they put in some details about age, gender, and so forth, and then their interests, whether they like movies, sports, and so on. Now, after the session, they would vote, as I said, for each participant of the opposite sex about whether they think they were a match for them, and also they would scale them on a scale of 1 to 10 about various attributes such as attractiveness, fun, intelligence, and so on. Now, to determine how Kurush would perform in speed dating, we had to give him some attributes and then to see how they worked out. So the attributes that we've gone for are age and so on. So just follow me on that. As we know, Kurush is 25. Kurush is fairly attractive, a very sincere guy, intelligent. Well, on this one, we wanted to give him a 10, but the fact that he allowed us to run this joke on him now doesn't really give him too much credit, so we had to knock down a couple of points. Fairly ambitious and not a fun guy to be with. So, what we did, we developed a logistic regression model, and we plugged those attributes into the model to see how many women would say yes to this profile. And drum roll, please. 71%. That's not bad, Kurush. That's actually very good. So, yeah, definitely a round of applause for that. So, Kurush is definitely a guy in demand. Now, in addition to being able to predict how many women would say yes to Kurush, we actually, because of, as I described, each participant also entered their interest and all that, then we could actually go and look at the profiles of those women and try to give him some sort of like a tip about what sort of women to look for when he's looking for his next partner. So, basically, since Kurush wasn't really in those sessions, then we had to look into his nearest neighbors and come up with a few real participants who had similar attributes to his, as per the attributes we saw before, the 25 and all that. So we've identified 3 guys that looked also fairly similar to him and had very close attributes. Now, when we looked at the women who voted yes to these 3 guys, we came up with some interesting insights. So basically what we're looking at here is, this chart is basically the zero baseline is the mean of all women who participated in those 21 sessions. And the bars are basically the mean of the women who said yes to those 3 guys from the previous graph. So when we look at those women who would vote yes for Kurush, we can say that those women are a bit more attractive than the average. They are fun girls, they don't like sport, they don't like art and museum, they don't like gaming. You know all that, yeah? And we do know that they like shopping and yoga, so start thinking about salary raise. So this is more or less what we can give Kurush here tonight, and we feel that's a tribute after this whole long course that we did here. Now, we figured if we have all this insight already and all these mechanisms available and we built it all, then why not make a public service to the world? And what we did, we built a website. So all of you can now go to kurush.services.without.com at the end and to try your own luck and see how you go. This is it. Thank you very much, and now it's time for some Q&A. So I'll let the others do some talking, sorry.
So my first point is Kurush's wife is just there in the front row. Do you want to come judge this one, Parisa?
Where does she fall on that graph?
Exactly. So if you could, just what did the rest of the team do? And sort of how did you break things up amongst the 5 of you?
Yeah, everyone. I'm happy to answer that. So essentially, we have we had to do first of all the cleanup of the data, which we've separated between us. There was analysis that we did on various attributes that we wanted to identify. We needed to actually some of the attributes we felt that they were not. They didn't contribute to the results, so we had to analyze to explore those and see what results we get in order to decide whether they're relevant to the display and to the end results. So we separated those also between us. And Dan, I think, can also elaborate a bit more about what he did, because the last graph that we saw was his result.
Yeah, so we all split up the analysis. We wrote out a bunch of questions that we should each ask, most of which didn't end up anywhere near here. And then there were things like whether race was a factor, which it wasn't in the data set, and age analysis, so is it harder to find a partner if you're older, which unfortunately it is. Not for Kurush though. Yeah, that's how we split everything up.
Where did you source your data from?
We found the data set from Kaggle. It was, yeah, I think all the sessions were run at an American university. I can't remember the name of the university, but yeah.
Sorry, can you just say how many observations were in the data set?
There were 4,000 dates in total. So there was 21 speed dating sessions, most of which had between 10 and 20 of each sex. So it ended up being 4,000 dates total.
And what did you look at to determine whether the model was performing well?
We split it up. We ran cross-validation on the model in order to work out which were actually the best predictors to use. So it turns out for the question of how many yeses would you expect to get, for males, the best predictors were only age, attractiveness, and fun, and
not money.
Not money wasn't, income wasn't in the data set, and for women it was only age and attractiveness. That So the other attribute.